Welcome to the History of England.
Did you know that the history of England spans more than 500,000 years? Amazing, isn't it? Let's take a step back in time, way back to the prehistoric era of England. This period stretches from the earliest evidence of human occupation to the arrival of the Romans, a time span that might seem almost unimaginable. The first traces of human life on this island, now known as England, date back to the Paleolithic era over 500,000 years ago. These early humans, our ancestors, were hunters and gatherers, living in a landscape dominated by wild animals and dense forests. As centuries turned into millennia, these early dwellers learned to adapt and evolve. The Neolithic era saw the advent of farming, a revolutionary development that forever changed the way humans lived. No longer nomadic, people began to settle down, to form communities, build homes, and domesticate animals. The Bronze Age followed, marking a period of significant advancements in tools and weapons, thanks to the discovery and use of metal. This was a time of increased trade and cultural exchange, as the inhabitants of England began to interact more with the wider world. Next came the Iron Age, a period characterized by the rise of tribal societies, fortified settlements, and intricate art. The Celts, renowned for their metalwork and warrior culture, dominated this era. Their influence can still be seen today in the art, language, and folklore of England. As the Iron Age drew to a close, a new power was rising in the Mediterranean, one that would soon cast its long shadow over England. The Romans, with their mighty legions and vast empire, were on the move, setting their sights on the rich and fertile lands of Britain. So, the stage was set for the arrival of the Romans, a period that would forever change the course of England's history. Enter the Romans, bringing with them a new era of civilization and influence. As we delve into the annals of history, we see that this momentous shift occurred around the 1st century AD, when the mighty Roman Empire set its sights on the island we now know as Britain. Spearheaded by the ambitious Emperor Claudius, the Roman conquest of Britain was no small feat. The Romans brought with them not only their legions but also a whole new way of life, leaving an indelible mark on the country that would reverberate through the centuries. Let's talk about infrastructure. The Romans were master builders, and their architectural prowess is still evident today. They constructed roads, bridges, and walls, the bedrock of the nation's transport and defense systems. Cities like London, York, and Bath blossomed under Roman rule, their layouts echoing the grid-like structure of Roman towns. Their influence didn't stop at architecture, it permeated every aspect of life. The Romans introduced a new system of law and government, which formed the basis of England's legal system. They also brought with them Latin, the language of the educated and elite, which would eventually evolve into the English we speak today. Culturally, the Romans left a profound mark. They introduced the concept of public baths, a social and leisurely activity that would become a cornerstone of Roman British culture. They also brought their gods and religious practices, which melded with local beliefs and traditions. However, as the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. By the 5th century AD, the Roman Empire was in decline. With their departure, the country plunged into a period of turmoil and uncertainty, paving the way for new settlers, the Anglo-Saxons, to step in. The Romans left an indelible mark on England, but as their empire crumbled, a new era dawned. The legacy of their rule, however, is still felt today, in the language we speak, the cities we inhabit, and the laws that govern us. The Roman influence on England was profound, shaping the nation's history and setting the stage for the centuries to follow. The fall of the Romans gave way to the age of the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. After the collapse of Roman authority around the 5th century, England saw a new wave of settlers, the Anglo-Saxons. These Germanic tribes, primarily the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes, crossed the North Sea from what is now Denmark and northern Germany. The Anglo-Saxons didn't just bring their families and belongings, they brought a whole new language and culture, and even their pagan religion. They established their own kingdoms, 7 in total, often referred to as the Heptarchy. These included Northumbria, Mercia, and Wessex, among others, each with their own distinct identity and rivalries. Yet, the Anglo-Saxon era was not just about territorial disputes and power struggles, it was also a time of great cultural development. The Anglo-Saxons were skilled craftsmen and artists, producing intricate jewelry, illuminated manuscripts, and impressive architecture. But as the centuries rolled on, another group of seafarers began to make their mark on England, the Vikings. These Norse warriors from Scandinavia began their raids on English shores towards the end of the 8th century. These weren't just hit-and-run attacks. The Vikings started settling, particularly in the north and east of England, an area that became known as the Danelaw. The Viking influence was profound, from their language infused into Old English to place names and even the administrative divisions of the land. Yet the Vikings didn't just bring axes and longships, they brought a thirst for trade and exploration. They connected England to a wider network of commerce and culture, from the frigid lands of Iceland and Greenland to the bustling markets of Byzantium. The end of the Viking Age didn't mean the end of their influence. The last Anglo-Saxon king, Harold Godwinson, was killed fighting a Viking-descended invader, William the Conqueror, at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. The Anglo-Saxon and Viking period was a time of seismic change, setting the stage for the Norman conquest. The tapestry of English history was being threaded with rich, vibrant strands, weaving a narrative that would continue to unfold in the centuries to come. 1066, a year etched in English memory, the year of the Norman conquest. This pivotal moment changed England's narrative forever, setting the stage for a new era. Let's set the scene. The English king, Edward the Confessor, passed away without an heir, triggering a power struggle. Harold Godwinson was crowned king, but two other ambitious men had their sights set on the throne: Harold Hardrada, King of Norway, and our central character, William, Duke of Normandy. William claimed that Edward had promised him the throne and that Harold had sworn to support him. So, when Harold was crowned, William was understandably miffed. He assembled an army and crossed the English Channel, ready to stake his claim. The Battle of Hastings, a bloody affair that lasted all day, resulted in Harold's death and William's victory. Thus, William the Conqueror, as he would come to be known, was crowned King of England on Christmas Day, 1066. But what did this mean for England? The Norman conquest was more than just a change of rulers. It was a complete cultural transformation. The Normans brought with them a new language, French, which melded with Old English to form the foundation of modern English. They introduced the feudal system, reshaping society's structure with a clear hierarchy. William, a keen administrator, also commissioned the Domesday Book, providing a comprehensive survey of landholdings throughout England. This inventory, a remarkable feat for its time, gave William the data he needed to effectively govern his new kingdom and levy taxes. The Normans also left their mark on the landscape. They built robust stone castles like the Tower of London and stunning cathedrals like Canterbury and Durham, many of which still stand as testaments to their architectural prowess. The Normans' reign was relatively short, just under 90 years, but their impact was profound. They ushered in a new age, blending their culture with the Anglo-Saxon roots of England, and laid the groundwork for the nation we know today. The Normans not only conquered England, they transformed it. They left an indelible mark on the English language, culture, and landscape, crafting an England that was both familiar and new, a blend of old and new worlds. From the Norman conquest, we move into the Middle Ages, a period of knights, castles, and the Black Death. This era, stretching from the 11th to the 15th centuries, was a time of profound transformation, marking a significant shift in England's social and political landscape. One pivotal moment during the Middle Ages was the signing of the Magna Carta in 1215. King John put his seal on this critical document, which limited the power of the monarchy and established certain legal rights. The Magna Carta is often hailed as one of the cornerstones of British democracy, laying the foundation for the rule of law that we know today. As the Middle Ages progressed, England found itself embroiled in one of the longest wars in history, the 100 Years' War. This intermittent conflict with France, spanning from 1337 to 1453, was marked by political intrigue, shifting alliances, and memorable battles. Despite the turmoil, it was also a time of significant cultural and military advancements, including the rise of the longbow, which revolutionized warfare. But the Middle Ages was not just about war and political power plays. It was also a time when England, like much of Europe, was struck by the devastating Black Death. This pandemic, which peaked in 1348, wiped out an estimated third of England's population. It brought profound social changes, shaping the nation in ways that are still felt today. Yet, amidst this upheaval, progress was made. The Middle Ages saw advancements in art, literature, and education. Universities were founded, cathedrals built, and the seeds of the English Renaissance were sown. The Middle Ages was a time of great upheaval, but also of great progress. It was an era that fundamentally shaped the England we know today, paving the way for the future chapters of this fascinating historical journey. Next comes the Tudor and Stuart period, a time of exploration, religious conflict, and a certain headstrong queen. We're diving into a time when England was expanding its horizons, both literally and figuratively, and setting the stage for the world as we know it today. The Tudor dynasty began with Henry VII in 1485, but it's his son, Henry VIII, who often steals the spotlight. Known for his 6 marriages and his break with the Catholic Church, Henry VIII set England on a path of religious conflict that would last for decades. His daughter, Elizabeth I, also known as the Virgin Queen, presided over a golden age of exploration and culture. Under her reign, England began to establish colonies in the New World, and the arts flourished with figures like William Shakespeare. But the Tudor dynasty was followed by the Stuarts, and the transition was anything but smooth. James I, the first Stuart king, faced resistance from Parliament, leading to the infamous Gunpowder Plot in 1605. His son, Charles I, would fare even worse. Charles's struggles with Parliament erupted into the English Civil War, a brutal conflict that ended with Charles's execution and the temporary abolition of the monarchy. Yet, the monarchy was not gone for long. The interregnum period, under Oliver Cromwell, was marked by strict Puritan rule and military dictatorship. The monarchy was restored in 1660 with Charles II, aptly named the Merry Monarch for his hedonistic court, and the contrast he presented to the austerity of the interregnum. The Tudor and Stuart periods were complex, filled with intrigue, conflict, and change. They were times of exploration and expansion, of religious upheaval and political revolution. They saw the rise of parliamentary power, the colonization of new lands, and the creation of some of the world's greatest works of literature. The Tudor and Stuart periods were times of great change, setting the stage for the Industrial Revolution. They were periods of transformation that shaped England into a nation ready to step into the modern age. The Industrial Revolution, a time when England was transformed from a rural society to an industrial powerhouse. This dramatic shift, which started around the mid-18th century, was not just a period of significant economic change, but also brought about profound social changes. It was a time when England's agrarian handicraft economy was rapidly replaced by one dominated by machines, factories, and mass production. Picture a landscape once dotted with small farming villages, now bristling with smokestacks. The countryside began to empty as people flocked to growing cities, like London, Manchester, and Birmingham, in search of work in the new factories. This was urbanization on an unprecedented scale, with cities expanding and evolving at an incredible pace. But it was not just the landscape that was changing. The Industrial Revolution introduced a host of technological advancements that forever altered the way people lived and worked. The steam engine, for instance, revolutionized transportation and industry. It powered the factories, drove the locomotives, and propelled the ships that made England a global trading power. Meanwhile, the spinning jenny, the power loom, and the cotton gin transformed the textile industry, making it possible to produce goods on a scale previously unimaginable. These inventions, among many others, laid the groundwork for the modern industrial world. Yet, the Industrial Revolution was not without its challenges. Rapid urbanization and industrialization brought about significant social changes, some of which were quite harsh. Living conditions in the burgeoning cities were often poor, with overcrowding and disease rampant. The working conditions in the factories were no better, with long hours, low pay, and dangerous environments. But out of these challenges, the seeds of social reform were sown. The plight of the working class spurred the development of trade unions and labor rights, while the social inequalities highlighted the need for political reform and better public services. The Industrial Revolution changed the face of England, propelling it into the modern age. It was a time of immense change and progress, a period that shaped the nation and the world in countless ways, many of which are still evident today. As we enter the 20th century, England faces 2 world wars, a changing empire, and a new role on the global stage. The dawn of the 20th century brought with it a time of profound transformation for England. The world stage was set ablaze by the fires of the First World War, a conflict of such magnitude that it was dubbed the war to end all wars. England, as part of the United Kingdom, played a pivotal role in the Allied victory, but the cost was dear. Over 700,000 British lives were lost and the country's landscape was forever scarred. But the trials of the 20th century were far from over. A mere 2 decades later, England was once again plunged into the throes of global conflict with the onset of the Second World War. The Blitz saw England's cities, particularly London, face relentless bombing, leading to extensive devastation. Simultaneously, the 20th century marked a significant shift in England's global standing. The sun was setting on the British Empire, once the most extensive empire in history. Independence movements flared up across the colonies, leading to a gradual process of decolonization. England had to renegotiate its place in the world and grapple with the loss of its imperial might. In the aftermath of these seismic shifts, England saw the rise of the welfare state. The mid-20th century heralded a wave of reforms aimed at creating a fairer society. The National Health Service was established, providing free healthcare to all. Education reforms offered opportunities to more people than ever before, and the social safety net was significantly expanded. These changes were not without their challenges. Economic fluctuations, political upheaval, and social change all marked England's journey through the 20th century. Yet through each trial, England adapted, evolved, and persevered. From the ashes of war and empire, modern England emerged. A nation forever changed by the events of the 20th century. A nation that continues to shape and be shaped by the world around it. A nation proud of its history and ready for whatever the future may hold. In the blink of an eye, we've arrived at modern England, a diverse, vibrant nation with a rich history. In the 21st century, England has faced significant changes and challenges, yet it has remained resilient and adaptable, continually evolving while honoring its past. Let's delve into some of the key events that have shaped England in this century. The start of the new millennium saw England tackling issues of global importance, such as climate change and sustainability. England has made strides towards a greener future, investing in renewable energy sources and implementing policies to reduce carbon emissions. In the realm of politics, the 21st century has been a time of transformation and uncertainty. The Brexit referendum in 2016, where the majority of UK citizens voted to leave the European Union, signaled a shift in England's relationship with the rest of Europe. This decision has had far-reaching implications, affecting everything from trade to immigration policies. In the sphere of culture, England continues to be a global trendsetter. From the domination of English musicians in the global charts to the worldwide popularity of English football, England's cultural influence is undeniable. Moreover, the 21st century England has seen the rise of a more diverse and inclusive society. The London Olympics in 2012 showcased this diversity, with athletes of all backgrounds representing the nation. England has also made significant strides in LGBTQ+ rights, with legislation such as the Gender Recognition Act of 2004 and the legalization of same-sex marriage in 2014. In the face of adversity, England has shown resilience. The response to the London bombings in 2005 and the Grenfell Tower fire in 2017 are testament to the spirit of unity and solidarity that characterizes modern England. Through all these changes, one constant remains: the enduring appeal of England's history and heritage. From the ancient stones of Stonehenge to the modern skyscrapers of London, England remains a place where the past and the future intersect in fascinating ways. And that, my friends, brings us to the England of today. As we've seen, the history of England is a tapestry of triumphs, trials, and transformations. This great nation's journey has been an awe-inspiring one, filled with the audacity of visionaries and the courage of the common man. From its prehistoric beginnings, England's landscape was shaped by the hands of its first inhabitants, leaving their indelible mark on the land. The Roman influence brought with it the birth of roads, cities, and a new way of life, setting the stage for the country's future. The Anglo-Saxon and Viking periods saw the fusion of cultures, language, and traditions, a testament to England's ability to adapt and evolve. The Norman conquest was a turning point that changed the course of England's history, bringing with it a new ruling class and a seismic shift in governance and societal norms. The Middle Ages were a time of turmoil and transformation, a period that saw the nation grapple with plague, war, and religious upheaval. Yet it also bore witness to the emergence of England as a significant player on the world stage. The Tudor and Stuart period brought about a golden age of exploration and culture, setting the scene for the country's rise as a global powerhouse. The Industrial Revolution marked a period of unprecedented growth and innovation, transforming England into the world's leading industrial and trading nation. The tumultuous events of the 20th century and beyond tested the resilience of this great nation, shaping its modern identity. Today, England stands as a testament to its rich and varied history, its people embodying the spirit of perseverance and progress that has defined their nation's story. So there you have it, the history of England, from prehistoric times to the present day. Each chapter of its past has shaped the England we know today, a country that continues to inspire with its resilience, creativity, and spirit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for future notifications. Until next time, keep exploring and learning.